What's the deal, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Jeremy Deal, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to use the Ace Pro 2 to take real estate listing images. And honestly, the bracketed images from this camera blew me away after my first shoot. Remember, better imagery equals faster sales every time. Now, let's get into it. On the screen in front of you are two images. One was taken with this Ace Pro 2, and the other one required almost $4,000 worth of specialized equipment to do. Can you easily tell which is which? Now you can use these processes I'm about to teach you with any of these smaller action cams, but today I'm going to be using the Ace Pro 2 in particular from Insta360 because they have a lot of HDR processing power in this little chipset behind the sensor with the clean like a glass, incredible low light capabilities, accurate interior color representations, and a host of accessories and attachments. I find it to be the best of these smaller size action cams for the purpose of shooting these listing photos in particular. If you're interested in my favorite accessories for this camera, you can check out the video up above because all the accessories for the Ace Pro also work on the Ace Pro 2, including this cage you see on it right now. I cannot begin to state how cool I think that is. Forethought is awesome. Either way, the fact that it has a wide range of shooting lens angles means you can always shoot with the Ace Pro 2 in linear mode, which sacrifices a bit of the width to give you proper verticals and horizontal lines. More simply speaking, none of that crazy fisheye effect. Now, today's video is sponsored by WeGotEditors.com, and the entire process I'm teaching today is based around how to shoot specifically for their editing team. All the images I show you in this video, including the ones I started with, were all edited by their team and shot on this exact Ace Pro 2, but more on them later in the video when it's relevant to that topic. Also, to be noted, Insta360 did send me out this camera for testing. They have no say-so over the video itself, they do not get to see it before it's posted, and if you've been here before, you know I'm still going to talk about the issues I faced using it on site. All right, let's get to the gear I recommend other than the camera itself. First, there are the must-haves. A sturdy tripod. I personally use this aluminum Manfrotto from the late 90s if you're wondering how long a good tripod will last you. If you're looking for something that will not break the bank but does a great job, you can go to your local camera shop and ask them for something used. Or you can get one of those little MePhoto collapsible ones for really cheap online. My only real recommendation here is not to get anything under $50 unless, of course, it is used, because when it comes to tripods, it's something you want to be extra reliable and super easy to use on site. The next thing you're going to need is a plate to mount your camera to that tripod. The majority of tripods come with this, but some do not, so please be warned in advance, especially if you're buying an aftermarket one or used one, should I say. Next would be the things you don't need, but I recommend. Number one is a good pair of booties to wear in the house. I really love these reusable ones because they have little grippies on the bottom and I never have to take my shoes off again. I'll link those down in the description below somewhere too because they are super cheap and they have changed my life since I started using it. One other accessory I really love is this Llano double battery charger and holder. It hasn't been charged in about 5 days, and you push the button on the front. I don't know if you can see, still both at 100%. What I like about it, you can charge 2 batteries. It holds 2 batteries, but it also holds right over here an additional micro SD. It'll actually hold 2, so you can keep everything together for whenever you need it in the field. The last thing I absolutely love using is the remote for the Ace Pro 2. Now, get that little dog hair off of there. The flip-up screen makes it easy enough, but having the remote here on your wrist strapped on makes the job super easy, and you never have to worry about shaking or moving the camera when pressing down the shutter button. You can also use the application on your phone, but what's the fun in carrying around your phone and the camera the entire shoot too, right? Once you have your plate connected to the camera and the camera connected to the tripod, it's time to work. Number one rule here, you want 100% straight verticals. The camera being 100% level on the left and right and front to back planes, extremely important to getting a great final shot. You don't want to be tilting the camera down from a high angle or pointing it up from the low. You want it nice and level with no degree of tilt. If we're using a regular camera, this next part would be super simple, but since we're using an action camera, not really designed for this purpose, I do all this from the remote, but I'll show you how to do it manually on the camera first in case you don't have the remote. First thing first, click the camera icon, switch it to 50 megapixels to give you the most color data for the editors to work with. If you use the remote like me, you will not need to set the timer, but if you do not want to buy the remote and use it, well, you can just set the timer 3 seconds here. You might want to skip the timer, but trust me, for reasons I'll get into later in the video in more detail, you 100% want this timer on if you are not using any kind of remote or application. Now, you want to set the format to pure shot plus raw. After that's set, let's go back to the main shooting screen and change the bottom right. You'll see the aspect style. Change that from mega to linear. Once again, go back to your shooting menu, and it's basically time to move on from setting up the camera to setting up your shot itself. Scroll to the right and bring up your camera settings menu. I always shoot these in manual mode because there are a few settings you're going to want to change to get the highest quality image possible from the sensor. So switch it out of auto mode. Let's first change the color profile. Typically, I shoot in the flat color profile, but I also find the Leica natural one to look really good too, and it's the one I've started kind of shifting my workflow to with this camera. Next, you want to put the ISO all the way to its lowest setting. For us on the Ace Pro 2, that's 100. I personally leave my white balance set to auto and my EV stays at 0. Now comes to the only part that matters, the shutter speed, and this is why you have the tripod and the timer. It's what's going to allow you to mimic the way a more traditional mirrorless or DSLR works. Now, what I'm going to teach you is how to expose bracket, or bracket exposures. The goal here is to keep the camera in the exact same spot without moving it at all for multiple different exposured shots. This allows the team over at We Got Editors to blend in all the correct exposures, which gives you these amazing shots you've been seeing all video so far. Now remember, when I talk about the timer being a big deal earlier, this is when that comes into play. Some of these shots are going to have long shutter times, and even the slightest movement of the camera when it's exposing, even from pressing down the shutter and removing your hand, it can give you some image blur. With the timer set, you have enough time to press the button and move away your hand before the shutter opens, so there's no worry about that accidental blur happening. Again, this is also where having that tripod is super important. It's basically impossible to do this job without one. Now, how do you know what the correct exposure is? This is more of a judgment call on your side, but I'll tell you how I figure it out pretty easily. First thing to know is what the editing team needs to make your images shine. They need 3 different exposures and a clean window pull. I always start with the 3 exposures. I start with the first base accurate exposure. What the window's like don't matter at all for this shot. What's important is the shadows. The shadows are your enemy in these images because that's where all the grain lives that make your images look a little less professional. So we want a nice, clean, and bright image for our base that looks something like this. Then you're going to move your shutter speed between 3 and 6 increments to the right to brighten up your image. You really want to be able to see into the shadows for this one, and it should look something like this. The next image is to bring up your shutter speed the opposite way back down past your base exposure, another 3 to 6 increments, just like the bright shot we took earlier, but again, the opposite way. For this one, it's not about what the shadows look like, but the highlights, especially ones on the floors. You want to be able to see a bit of detail here and there, and this is a good example of that dark exposure. The very last exposure we need is what's called a window pull, and this is so the team at We Got Editors can make your windows look as good as possible too. You're going to scroll your shutter speed way down for this one, and this is roughly what it will look like. You're basically just trying to get the windows to look good. Now, the only thing left to do is continue this process for every image you want to take on the property. Once you're done there, we can jump onto the computer and I'll walk you through the process of getting the correct images off of the Ace Pro 2 and into a folder the editors can access and use. The only program you'll need here is the Insta360 Studio that comes free with the camera. You can also do this from your phone, but I find it to be way clunkier and more annoying personally, so I prefer to plug my camera into the computer and fire up the software. As long as your camera's plugged in and on, remember to turn it on. The software will automatically recognize it and ask you to import all that data. If this does not happen, you can click the Open Files button on the left and navigate to your camera. You'll be able to see that your camera took 2 different images on site. The JPEG, which is that pure shot that they're calling more of a finished product, if you want to call it that. Again, Insta360 calls it pure shot, and if you're in a serious rush for time and budget, you could take that one image and be done. Now, the quality won't be close to what I'm showing you how to create, but you can do it. The other files, the DNG files that we will be using, because these are the files that have all the good data that We Got Editors needs to take the images from good to great. These DNG files can also be called raw files if you were curious about that term in the menus before. I wish there was an option for just the DNG files to be shot, but currently there is no option for that, so we're just going to completely ignore all those JPEGs. I just ignore them, but you could also select them all and remove them from the screen if that's easier for you. From there, the last thing to do is select the linear view from over on the right hand of the screen, and then sync that selection across all the images you plan to export. When exporting, make sure to always export in the DNG format to keep that wide range of editing information, and you can either edit these yourselves or do what I do and send them off to today's video sponsor, WeGotEditors.com. The process could not be simpler, and the quality of image you get back will always be top shelf, especially for the quality of images you put in, right? Now, you can check out their link below if you like the quality of images you've seen from them throughout this entire video, and if you like the information provided and of course the way I presented it, think about giving this video a like and sub to the channel. If not, well, I appreciate you watching anyway. Let me know down in the comments below if you have any questions I did not cover throughout the video, and again, think about checking out the video on the screen now because YouTube thinks you'll like it. Catch you next time. Yeah, I'll catch you next time.